Folks, today on the Stoney Ridge Farm channel, I'm going to take you over, show you the cows, and show you where I've been totally messing up. This is great food for thought for you if you're considering raising animals, or if you already do. You're going to learn something today. Let's have some fun. I have been messing up, and we're going to show you the fix.
Stoney Ridge Farm, Stoney Ridge, Stoney Ridge Farm.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. Today, first of all, I got to fuel up the four-wheeler, so let's back out the other four-wheeler. We're going to talk about some of the mistakes that I've made on this regenerative farm in my intensive rotational grazing methods. And hopefully this will help you guys if you're deciding to raise your animals like this, or if you're just curious about farming and rotational grazing. I have made some fatal flaws in my grazing routine, and it's so hard to break this habit. So come along today, we're gonna have some fun, get some work done, and talk to you guys about the mistakes that I've made here on the Stoney Ridge Farm and how I'm fixing those mistakes by being smarter. We've got to learn something every day, and it's so tough to not do what I've been doing. Contact! Are you full of fuel? Yes. All right, guys, welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. This is your first time here, or your 50th time. Please hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel. I run ATVs on the farm, and we are on my Honda Foreman 500. And I've got a fuel tank in here, and we got to get some gas in it. See, we're just about empty. One of my bosses, when I was in the Air Force, told me the most simple tip ever. Hey, if you keep the top half of your gas tank full, you'll never run out. Ask me how many times I've ran out of gas. Maybe twice in my life. Oh, so this is a pretty cool little setup right here. I do believe this came from Northern Tool. This is a little gas pump that I have in my shop. Basically, I just put this guy in here, and I use this hand crank. It has an arrow on it, and I'll hand crank this thing full of fuel. Hopefully I'm not out of fuel in this tank. And I just keep that filled up with gas cans. I just go to the gas station once or twice a month and keep this thing filled up. And it's almost empty. Let's see if I can tilt it. Tilt it a little bit. Pick up more. Yeah, a little bit. Get that old gas out of there. Get done. Lift this guy up. All the gas falls back into the tank, and we're good to go for the next time. Probably be a better idea to keep this outside, but when you leave fuel outside, just so you guys know, here's one of the mistakes I've made. When you leave fuel, diesel fuel or gasoline outside, it develops some water vapor in there and can ruin your gas. So it's important to keep your fuel in a fairly climate-controlled area like your shop. Let's go over and check out the cows. Contact! Cows. Morning, ladies. A little salt lick. This is a lesson in self-control. So I've got my cows out here, and you can do this with cows, sheep, goats, whatever you want to do it with. I am intensive grazing. In other words, I'm mob grazing my cattle. I'm moving them paddock to paddock to paddock, and I'm moving them in the summertime every 12 hours. Here's the problem. When I see that there's grass left behind, look out here, there's plenty of grass left behind right here. When I see that, my mind, my conservative mind wants to conserve life. It wants to conserve and use up everything I can prior to moving my cattle, and it's the wrong thing to do, okay? So what I've learned is if you want your pastures to be horrible, overgraze them. And if you overgraze your pastures, they recover slower. That solar panel that we need so much, which is the blade of grass to help that grass grow, is all completely wiped out. So the self-control issue here is if you are moving your cattle, or if you're intensive grazing, or if you are rotationally grazing your cattle, don't wait until the grass looks like this. Look at this. Do you see what I've done here? Do you see? I'm still learning. I'm still getting better at this. Look at this. This was grazed about 4 days ago, and this was grazed 3 days ago. Look at this distinct line right here. 12 hours, 24 hours. Death to the grass, life to the grass. And this is still just a little bit overgrazed. What I'm doing here on the farm is we're supposed to be grazing 1/3, trampling 1/3, and leaving 1/3 of the grass. And it's so hard for me or any other farmer or rancher to get that idea out of their head that they've got to consume all the grass in the pasture. The cows have been on this section of grass for 12 hours. It's a larger paddock, and it hasn't been overgrazed. Most people in the farming industry, in the ranching industry, would see this and say, we got to leave our cows out here. We got to leave them out here until they consume all of the grass that we need to have them consume before we move them. It's inefficient to do it any other way. And I'm telling you right now, it's inefficient to do it the other way. I've been doing it all wrong. So we're going to take the cows and we're going to be moving them on to another little section of pasture. All of this land is old tobacco land with no topsoil whatsoever, and we've been working at building topsoil on this property for about the last 8 years, whether it was cattle or whether it was intensive grazing. So let's walk you over here real quick, and we're going to just do a little pasture walk and talk. So you see how much greener this is than this, right? I see that, you can see that. This is mildly overgrazed, and it's really overgrazed right here by the waterers. That's a really high impact point. You see the cows just hanging out right here by the waterers. They will pound the ground down, but it will recover a lot quicker because they're all hanging out right here by the waterer. They're all pooping and they're all peeing right here. So the nutrient content in the soil by the waterer is going to be better. Now, let's look at where they were. This is the paddock that was super green a minute ago, and now look. See, it's all relative. That isn't as green as this, is it? This is overgrazed also. That is supremely overgrazed. This is overgrazed, and this is not overgrazed. And what's gonna happen here, and what we do here on the Stoney Ridge Farm, is we hopefully can rest our pastures about 40 to 45 days between grazings. If we can leave our pasture alone when it's like this, then it will recover 4 or 5 times as fast. And instead of having bare spots like what we see here, this is a bare spot, and you can see sparse grass out in here, sparsely separated grass. There's very sparse grass out in here where there is none out there. Eventually, all of this will close in and we will have super healthy root systems. We'll have super healthy grass systems. We'll have multi-species pasture, that salad bar beef that we talk about so much, and we'll have healthier animals, fewer flies, less need for any kind of dewormer. In other words, we'll have a lower parasite load. The cows are getting the parasites from the grass that's overgrazed. In the top 5 inches of grass from the ground to 5 inches is where most of the parasites lie. And parasites, we're talking about cows get wormy. They just get wormy if they graze down that low. So our goal is throughout the summer, and we're getting ready to get into the dry season, our goal is to have pasture recovery, quick, and keep them moving faster and faster and faster through the farm. 12 hours to a paddock, okay? Basically, I had them on 12 hours right here. I took down a fence and let them have 12 hours up there. They've had about 7 acres to graze. Here's what we do in the wintertime, and this is very, very important in the wintertime. We select pastures which need the most nutrient, and that's where we unroll our hay. We don't put our hay in a hay ring and let the cows make a big mud hole of it. We don't let our cows in a barn all winter long and make a big mud hole and manure hole out of it. We keep the cows moving, we prevent mud, we prevent broken ground on the farm, and we try not to overgraze. But areas that do get overgrazed or areas of poor nutrition, we roll out hay bales. So anywhere, just like over there where you saw that bare spot, this winter we'll be pounding that with hay, okay? So somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 250 bales of hay, of biomass, of carbon will be brought to the soil. What does that do? Biomass, carbon in the soil, that helps to hold moisture. It's the building block of life, guys. It's what's super important for your animals. So right now we're gonna move the cows off of this perfectly good pasture so that it recovers faster, so that our animals are more healthy, so that our land is more healthy, our grass is more healthy, our root systems are more healthy. And shame on me for not doing this the correct way every single time. What did I do? I messed up. I put them on here for 24 hours. There's still more grass they could eat. But why? Why am I doing that? It's the mentality of save, save, save. It's the mentality of use it all up and move them on. But you can't do that. Way overgrazed, and not overgrazed. Let's move on to a new paddock. This is a new section of land that we cleared just a few years back, and we planted grass seed on it last winter, and we really hit it hard. We put 80 bales of hay on this new paddock that we're getting ready to move the cows to. So you guys know we use poly wire. This is the electric fence wire that keeps these cows in this section. They learn to respect it. They learn to believe in it. They understand if I touch my nose to this or I try to go under it or over it, I'm gonna get shocked. We got a new baby up here. That's pretty awesome. We're gonna get these cows moved over there. Mama's got a new baby up here. Let's go check on our baby. Hey, Mama. Oh, this is Blackjack, number 21. Hey, you got a new friend to bring us a new baby? Hey, baby. Oh, I should have my ear tagger right here. Hey, baby. Mom might be a little upset, but she's pretty cool with me. Hey, baby, how you doing? Good morning. It's time to get up, okay? Oh, it's time to get up and go see Mom. There you go. That's not Mom, that's Mom. It's so nice to see new life on the farm, and that baby's mouth. That baby ran right into the fence with its mouth. Come on, guys. The goal with farming and ranching this way is to keep that grass from going into the bolt stage. In other words, when it bolts, when it sends a seed head up out of the grass, and that seed head turns brown, that grass just stops growing, guys. We want to keep the cows moving through as fast as we possibly can so that they knock the grass down before it bolts, before it sends a seed head out, and before it puts the grass into senescence. In other words, it stops growing. It will stop growing. The cool season grasses will grow all summer long unless you let them bolt, and then they will stop growing. It's important to know that. We've got to check our fence real quick. I think I checked it just the other day and we're good to go. We got to make sure everything's up before we move the cows in here. So I'm gonna shoot through this gate. We're gonna do a little fence inspection. This is our mineral block. Toss that in here. We got to race the cows. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close this gate. Cows will be at this gate in just a second when we come back. All the cows are bunched up here at the gate. They know they're gonna move. They know every 12 hours they're gonna move unless Farmer Josh makes a mistake and does what he did up there, overgrazing. Guys, the reason we've got to think of it this way, and a lot of farmers and ranchers think of grass differently. They think of it as a crop that gets harvested. In other words, when they're on this area, they harvest it, and they harvest all the grass. They harvest it all the way down. They eat everything that's consumable. It's not a crop that we harvest once per year. This is a crop that we harvest 12 times per year, 15 times per year as we move our animals throughout the pastures. So we've got to think about it that way, not harvesting every bit of it and moving on to the next, because it won't recover fast enough. Let's open the gate and let the girls come on through. Come on, guys. There's plenty of grass. They should be eating. Why aren't they eating? Why? Because they know they're gonna move. Watch. Come up. Come up. This was the worst area of pasture on this side of the farm last year. I hit it hard with hay. I rolled out hay, countless bales of hay pretty much out here to feed this land and to get it right. Hey, a little aggressive. So it works, guys. Unrolling this hay and moving, mobbing, and mowing. It's very, very important. We've got another new baby that was born 2 days ago. Lots of baby calves this year. Here comes Tammy. Tammy is our guard donkey. Tammy watches after the babies, keeps the coyotes off of them. And there's new mama, number 21. And new baby should follow. Yeah, there you go. And that's a new baby girl. Funky little girl. Yep. A new heifer. Awesome. Guys, that's what's going on here on the farm today, and I want you to understand. First things first. Move them, keep them moving, move, mob, mow, move, mob, mow. We're pruning grass, we're not harvesting a crop. Move, mob, and mow. And it's so hard to break that habit. Guys, if you have animals like this, please post a comment down there. Are you doing the same thing that I just did back there? Are you overgrazing, stunting the growth of your grass, stunting the root system, making your animals less healthy and making your soil less healthy by moving them less? Keep them moving, keep them mobbing, and keep them mowing, guys. Grass is not a crop to harvest. Grass is a continually growing organism that needs to be pruned and move on, and pruned and move on. And cows will get fat, and the land will be healthy, and you won't have to worm them as much, and you won't have as much flies. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you learned a little something today. We're gonna run back, check this field real quick, make sure there's no animals left in that field, and we're just gonna listen to the sound of the cows munching. See you next time.
We'll come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge.
I've got 85 tripods. All of the tripods are at the shop. From going into the bulk. This is our mineral block. And I can't pick it up with one hand, evidently. This is our mineral block.